Hello and welcome to episode 12, I think, of my vendor event series. I know I still have 5 and 6 skipped. I'm going to get to them, I promise. Probably not until next year though. We'll talk more about that later in the video. But episode 12 here is going to be about the last 3.5 events I've done, all in December. Yeah, all of them. Were in December, so all my December events. I am done for the year and done probably until at least the spring, possibly even the summer, depending on if I get into the event that I have planned in the spring. I don't know if I'm into that one yet. They haven't confirmed that yet, and they're not going to confirm it until like March or April, I think, and it's in May. So, but anyway, I'm taking a break for a while. I'm not going to be working, especially not in January, February, March probably. I might start in April if I find another event that I want to do. We'll see how I feel when I get there, but right now I'm done for the year and taking a break into the beginning of next year. But I have other vendor event videos I'm going to be putting out soon. But I do have other vendor event videos I'm going to be doing, and you'll see those soon. But anyway, let's get started with this one. So this is about, like I said, the last 3.5 events I've done. I'm actually doing this where I'm going to bring stuff up on the TV over here. If you can see the dust down here, just ignore that. I'll talk about in a minute what's been going on if you don't already know. But I did this kind of format on my other channel, and I figured I'm sitting over here anyway. It's probably a better way to do it for this channel, just for this video for sure. Maybe I'll do it for other videos later. But what I do is I have an Apple TV, and then I have a what is this? A MacBook? I don't even know. That I can just kind of bring things up on the screen very easily. So I've been doing that on my other channel, because on my other channel I try not to edit the videos as much, and it makes it go faster because they're kind of vlog style. Well, I'm going to do it on this channel too once. But speaking of my vlog channel, I should probably show you that, because there are, if you want more explanation about the events I'm doing, if you want a more like in-depth look, or like a raw kind of experience where like right after the event I kind of give my immediate reaction to it, you'll see that on the vlog channel. So let me bring that up. Give me 1 second here. Alright, so this is my business vlog channel. It's Trush Design Business Vlogs, at Trush Design Business Vlogs. Only got 10 subscribers. It'd be nice if I have some more. Nice if I have more on this channel too if you haven't subscribed here. But so this is, I started this a couple months ago, and I was doing 3 a week. I want to get back to doing 3 a week. The reason I haven't lately is I haven't told you about this yet. Well, not in this video. I might have told you in a different video. We've been going through some stuff lately in my life. About a month ago, a little more than that, my father-in-law passed away, and then we had to move my mother-in-law in with us because she needs some caretaking, and we were in a transition and getting her into, a new home. So she just moved last week into the new home, and things have still been a little crazy, so I'm trying to get back on track with everything. But I have been doing vendor events, so that's one thing I have still been doing. But that's why I haven't been filming as much, both on this channel and this channel. But eventually I'm going to get back to going 3 days a week, which would be Tuesday, Thursday, and then mostly Saturdays, but sometimes I stretch it to Sunday, especially when I have events, because then I can stretch that into that same video. So sometimes I've been releasing them on Sundays, but it started out Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So Tuesday, Thursday, and one of the weekend days is usually when I upload things. So today when I'm filming this is Tuesday. This is going to come out Wednesday. I'm in the process of finishing putting together the other vlog that I wanted to get to in this video, because it's about the last 2 events I've done. So what I was going to say is vlog number 13 here is about the first 2 events. I'm going to talk about the first event that I did on that channel, which wasn't technically a vendor event. It was similar. It was like a half, that I've had halves before. It was kind of an advertising thing. I couldn't sell anything. So I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video. But that's the first one on that video. And then the next one on that video is the first event I'm going to talk about here. Then when it comes up, I don't have it uploaded yet when I'm filming this, But vlog 14 will be about the other two events that I'm going to talk about in this video. So if you want more in-depth on those, vlog 13 is the first event, which is Whisker Wonderland. A little more of a reference there. And then I also have a tree lighting event at the end of this video that's also on that video. So that's vlog 13. 14 is about the last two events I did this past weekend. 2 in one weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that I'm going to be talking about. But those actually weren't as, I don't have much to say about those compared to the Whisker Wonderland event. So, you know, if you want to see more about those, it's in vlog 14. But I'm not going to have a whole lot to say on this video about them, just so you know. Alright, so that's what I wanted to show you there. Then I'm going to start talking about the event, but let me get some stuff pulled up first. Alright, so this is a picture of my setup at the Whisker Wonderland event. So this was December 6th. It was put on by a cat rescue, a local cat rescue. Now there are a couple things with this event. So when I first signed up for it, which was a long time ago, it was supposed to be closer to me. It was supposed to be in a nearby city to me, Elm Grove. At the Elm Grove Women's Center, apparently. I've never been there. But I was like, oh, that's really close by. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. It's a cat rescue. You know, I have Assistant Chaz. Actually, he's promoted to supervisor. Did we talk about that yet on this channel? I think we may have. Yeah, he's Supervisor Chaz now. Still Employee of the Month. In fact, that's that sign there. I don't know if you can see. Maybe I can zoom in. Right there. So he got a new sign, and he's Supervisor Chaz now. But anyway, you know, cat rescue. I'm a cat lover, always have been. I wanted to do this event. I also wanted to have more cat stuff ready for it, you know. But then with all this crap going on in my life, you know, I didn't really have a chance. But I did, at least for the event before this, right? Because that was the Kohler one. That was the last one I did before this. I had a big amount of, like, I got enough done for that event that I had, you know, a good amount of stuff, even without making more, like, cat-related things. So, anyway, what I'm going to say is, I don't remember what the booth sizes were, but they were bigger at the other place. But since what happened was apparently the venue double booked or some kind of miscommunication issue or something, so they ended up not being able to use the place they were going to have, so they moved to this place, which is it's a pavilion in one of the Milwaukee parks in Milwaukee proper, and it's not very big. But as you can see, I did have room like to the side of me on both of these. There's a person standing there, but you know, I had some room. So like when I looked at the information like closer to the event, because they had sent out, hey, we need to change the venue, you can, you know, get a refund and cancel if you want. And I was like, no, I'll stay. So then the booth sizes changed to 8x6, or not 8x6, 6x6. And technically they said also that it's probably more like 5 feet across that you could have. So I'm like, oh, well then I'll bring my small 4-foot table then, because I only have 5 feet across. Well, anyway, so I get there. I'm kind of getting kind of ahead of myself, but I get there and like, you know, I'm like, well, where am I? I'm Shrush Design, you know. So they give me like this rough space. They didn't like measure out the spaces or anything, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And what they said when I got there was that there was 12 of us. It ended up being 9, not 12. And originally there were like 40 or so, 39, I think he said, 39 to 12, and then 9 actually showed up the day of. So I could have had more space is my point. Like if I would have brought a bigger table, because having at least my 6-foot table would have been a little better, because this is real cramped. But, you know, I made it work. And it did work very well, by the way. We'll get to this, but I did very well at this event. The best event I've had so far. But I'll get to that in a minute. So I was kind of worried about setup-wise, like am I going to be able to fit everything with my pegboard and the table and everything. And like I said, I could have even stretched out further, like there was room here. If I would have known more ahead of time, if I had more room, you know. And I could have also brought my 6-foot table and like switched them out. But, I didn't. I just brought my 4-foot table with me because I thought, oh, there's small spaces. I don't want to carry all this stuff if I don't have to. So I only had my 4-foot table. But like I said, it worked out fine. Was a little worried too. I've never done an event in Milwaukee itself. And part of the reason is sales tax is more in Milwaukee. So, and my prices are sales tax inclusive, which makes it easier. I don't have to keep change on me and stuff with people paying cash. That's why I do it that way. And I didn't raise my prices or at all or anything like that. So it kind of eats into my profits a bit with the sales tax. So that's one thing. The other thing is, in general, this wasn't too bad, but like in general, parking is not as great in Milwaukee. Like there isn't a whole lot of parking space. Like, and they kind of said beforehand, like, oh, you can, because there's like a little space here for kind of a loading zone, like in front of the pavilion. And, kind of like other events, like you unload as fast as you can and then you go park. Well, I was able to park like a little bit further up than the loading zone and just stay there the whole time. So it wasn't really a big deal parking, but I was kind of worried about it on the way there. I'm like, oh God, how busy is it going to be loading? Like, where am I going to park? I'm kind of worried about it. It was fine. But that's another reason why I get kind of nervous about working in Milwaukee, like, parking. And I'm considering possibly doing a few in Milwaukee next year. There's a big, if they do this one again, I would like to do it. They have a few others during the year, but I think part of the reason I did so well is because it's so close to the holidays. And obviously I would get more cat stuff for the next time. Because there were people like, oh, do you have any cat stuff? Well, I have a few, but I didn't really have as much as I wanted for cat stuff. But if I do it next year, I will have more, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, so there is a company that does in Milwaukee, like events in Milwaukee throughout the year that is more like kind of high-end, or not really high-end necessarily, but like more art focused rather than craft and vendor, which is part of what I've noticed this year is I'm more on the art side, but I kind of feel like I'm not quite an artist either. Like I'm a lettering artist, but I'm not good at like drawing other things so much. So I kind of feel kind of intimidated being in the art shows, but then I feel like I'm like out of the vendor and craft fair category, so I don't really have a home, So these are more art focused, so I might try one or two next year, and see how they go in Milwaukee. Because I did so well at this one, though. That's just part of the reason. So we'll get to that. But that was my setup as far as that goes. I had these trees finally done, which I think I did for the Kohler event. They went off really well. I sold 4, I think, at this event. I'd have to double check on that, but I think it was 4. They went off well. My small signs that were Christmas related, because now my problem was at my remaining events, I didn't really have any Christmas ones left, and people were like, well, where's the Christmas ones? I'm like, they're sold out already. Like, and I didn't have time with everything going on to make more, so that's what I had. I had a bunch of fall and, Thanksgiving and even Halloween stuff left over. So those didn't really sell at my other events, but all my Christmas ones kind of sold out of this one. I did sell this sign, Welcome to My Beautiful Chaos, which most people would think would be like, a family with children and stuff, but the guy who bought it was like, that's me and my cats, I want that one. So it worked out for a cat lover too. So that one, obviously the cat one, hope you like cats. The paw print one, it's not visible right here, but I have one that says, a house isn't a home without paw prints. Yeah, that's what it says. And people were commenting on it, and the organizer lady, who was like not in charge of the rescue, but she was in charge of the event, she said, and she didn't end up doing this, she's like, hey, if no one buys that, I want it. I'll probably buy it at the end of the event. She didn't buy it. I was kind of hoping she would, but she didn't. But that's fine. I didn't want to bother her afterwards, be like, hey, you still want this, So I left it alone. I also sold one of these big chunks, which I've been taking with me to almost every one of my events. And, people look at them, especially the snowman one, which I still have. They love them, but they're like, oh, I just don't know what to do with them, And I'm like, well, you could, I think I need to like do better job of like marketing it. You can lean it against like a wall with like another display, especially in the winter, you know, like if you have like garland up somewhere and you can put like it against the wall or something. But anyway, I got one lady to buy this one, which it says get cozy and stay a while on one side, and then on the other side it's home is where your garden grows. So she was thinking of putting it outside, which I'm like, well, it's sealed. I'm just not sure how long it'll stay. It's not like I don't have like industrial strength sealer on there, but you know, she was talking about maybe putting it outside. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I mean, she bought it though, and they're pricey. They're $30. So yeah, as you can see, I sold a lot of stuff. I didn't sell any of my door hangers at any of these events actually. It was pretty much like the smaller stuff, and then some of those signs finally. Not any of my Christmas signs though that I made. I still have all of those. And not my door hangers, like I said. But anyway, let me get to, so going in I had goals. So I spent $60 for the fee for this event, so I wanted to have at least $60 to make a profit. Then my sales goal at the time, my daily or per event, which normally is the same thing unless I'm doing a multi-day event, that at that point was at $68. So I passed both of those. Then my next goal was to break 100, and that was like my lofty goal. I passed that too. And I also had another goal that I put in the middle. Now I don't remember what it was. Actually, wait, I think I made notes. Hold on, let me pull that up real quick. I made notes about this so that I wouldn't forget. So my 2.5 goal that I made, because I made those goals on my vlog channel before I got there, like on the way there I was talking about it. I decided, I have another goal actually before the $100 one, which was make at least $19 in profit, because that would have been my largest profit. So that would have been $79. Well, I passed all of those because I ended up making $118 in total. And when I passed all my goals, I decided to make a few more. So I made a goal of double the fee, which is $120, which I almost got. It was $118. And then double sales record, which would have been $136. So I ended up with $118, like I said. If that lady would have bought the paw print sign, that was another $8. That would have got me past my fourth goal, which was the double the fee, which was $120. It would have been $126 at that point. But she didn't, and I didn't push her, like I said. So that was that. Let me see, did I talk about everything in here? Because I made notes. I forgot I made notes. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, one more thing that I can mention first. So if you notice, I don't have my ornaments here. That's because I left my ornament box and my magnets. They were both in the same box. Plus it also had signs. So I normally have like signs that I made for the trees and for the small signs and for these, the wood signs here, and the magnets, which I don't have. And I was like, when I was packing up my car, because this was in the middle of my chaos with everything going on in our house, and I had to move stuff around, and I was trying to keep things organized, but I lost the ornament box somewhere. So I decided, well, maybe it's in there somewhere, like in buried in one of the bigger totes or something. Like I put it in there. So I was like, well, I probably have it. I'll just find it when I get there. It wasn't there. I did find it eventually. It was in a pretty stupid spot, but I found it. So I brought it to my other two events, but I didn't have it for this one. So I didn't have my signs, my price tag signs actual, and I didn't have my ornaments and my magnets. And yeah, that's it. Well, actually, I didn't have my hooks either that I normally use, but I had my extra hooks, thankfully. But I usually put the ones that I like had set up to use, I had those in my ornament box. But like I said, luckily I had extras. So it worked out. I had to kind of finagle a little bit, but it worked out. But anyway, so like I said, real good sales day. It was 4.5 hours I was there. And pretty steady actually most of the time. And so this is in a park. And I think there were some people that drove, but it was a lot of people like walking by that came in, and worked out well. And part of the thing too, so I have a list of what I thought of why I did so well. I have closer to the holidays because my other holiday events weren't doing so well, and the ones after this didn't do so well. Spoiler alert. I did a little bit, but not much at those. So I thought maybe because it's finally closer to the holidays and people are more in the Christmas spirit, more buying gifts for people and stuff, you know, that was part of the reason. Motivated buyers, because this was put on by a cat rescue, so it's a lot, a lot of the people wanted to support the cats, which it wasn't like any of our sales went to the cats. I mean, I could have made like an additional donation, like part of our fee went to the donation towards the cat rescue. I'm planning on, once I start making more money, especially because they helped me start here and they helped me break my sales record and everything, and I care about cats, I plan on donating eventually, probably next year sometime, to the cat rescue, like, after the fact. But again, part of my fee already went towards them. Plus, they were there selling calendars and taking donations and stuff already. So I could have donated more, but I kind of need the money at the time. Like I'm not making enough right now. This was a good event for me though. Maybe if I would have sold out, maybe I could have donated some. But I plan on doing that in addition to because every part of the fee that the people that were there, which they did lose some though, went towards the cat rescue. And then like the other half of it went to the venue or whatever percentage. I don't know if it was half, but whatever. So part of it was, they also had, I kind of missed out on this, but they had like where you could kind of add something to a raffle basket where they could make more money and stuff like that. I didn't do that though. I actually don't know if they ended up doing that. Maybe because no one did it. I don't know. But I wasn't the only one here either. Like most of the people here didn't really have cat specific stuff. They had like some cat stuff. Like there were two crocheters there, which I mean, they were both a little different, but we only had 9 people there. And there was like next to me on this side, there was like they had quilts and they had other sewing stuff. So they had, I think one of their quilts was cat related. I had a few cat related signs here, like I said. Like the crochet people had a few cats that they crocheted, but they had other stuff. Who else was there? There was a food, like a snack kind of vendor, like popcorn and stuff like that. There was this woman there who she did donate she always donates part of her profits towards like an animal shelter. So she did it for this one this time, but I was overhearing her talking to other people, and every event she does, because her mission was to kind of, make money for cats. Like that's her whole point. Well, not cats and dogs, animals, technically pets. But she had like these tarot cards for cats, and they were like based on actual cats, I guess, and dogs. Like there was a dog set and a cat set. And like I said, normally, like if she sells them, she has like part of the proceeds, like she automatically gives half, I think, but then like you can choose to give more if you want, like you can donate more with her. So that was her whole thing. But anyway, she was like one who was donating, and also that was absolutely like cat or dog pet related, So there was that. Who else was there? I'm trying to think who else. I'm trying to remember the room as it was. Like there's the crochet people were next to me. One of the crochet people were next to me. One of them was across from me. The quilting people and sewing people were here. The actual, there was another food place that did more like sweets and desserts and stuff. The other one was like kind of snacky. But is that it? That might have been it. Is that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I'm missing one. I don't remember. I don't remember the other one right now. But anyway, that was pretty much it for that event. I did really well though. And like I said, the other, I didn't go over my last reason. Well, 2 last reasons. Let me go back to that. All right, so what I was saying is the buyers were motivated, like they wanted to sell, because at least we were there supporting the cat rescue in some respects. Like I didn't say I was donating any money or anything like that. They didn't assume that, but they were there because it was a cat related event. And they wanted to support us because we were there supporting the cat in some way, supporting the cat rescue also. So I think that's the reason why I did so well. Also, because there were so few people here, like I said, I thought it was 9 when I was counting when I was there, but now I'm only remembering 8. It's either 8 or 9 people in total, or vendors, I should say. like tables, businesses, whatever. So when you have people coming in to be motivated to buy stuff at this event for cat rescue, and there's only 8 tables, or 9, depending on if I can count right, then, you know, less competition, like I said. And it's not, like I said, it's not always direct competition. It's competition because people only have a certain amount of money when they're coming, and, you know, they may get overwhelmed at everything there. So if you don't like grab them right away, they're not going to really spend money with you unless you do grab them, or unless there's less people and they're like, oh, now I can look a little closer at your stuff because there's not as many other stuff, and I like your stuff, so I'm going to buy something from you, you know, more than the other people. Or like I have a little money I can spend here and here and here and here or whatever, but they don't have to like, you know, really look at everything because there isn't a lot of stuff. So I think that worked in my favor too. Also, like I said, I've never done a Milwaukee event, and maybe, you know, I mean, in some ways, people living in the city make more money usually, but it's kind of the opposite. Like there's kind of both ends of the spectrum, and maybe they have more disposable income. You know, I don't know. Also, the neighborhood in Milwaukee, I used to live there. I actually grew up there for most of my childhood, and then I lived there in my 20s. Again, and it's a very friendly neighborhood. It's called Bayview. Very friendly neighborhood. A lot of young people and a lot of pet owners, because there were a lot of people walking around their dogs, even though it's winter as well in the park when we were there. But you know, that might be a factor, because I haven't done a Milwaukee event before, and maybe because I think part of the reason is like the location sometimes, like the city you're in, you know, and what type of people are they in general. You can't always nail that down, but I think, honestly, I do think being in Milwaukee helped. So that's why I want to do another Milwaukee event next year. 1 or 2, like I said, because this one went so well. We'll see how the next one goes. But that was it for that event pretty much. I don't really have any other pictures, I don't think. I mean, I took that picture, and then I also have a video I took. It's not that much different, but that was my booth. I'm kind of move this out of the way. Oh, I can't. Never mind. But anyway, that's how that went. That was the extent of my stuff. Didn't have my ornaments and magnets, like I said. But I don't think I had any other pictures from that event, so that was that. Again, if you want to see more leading up to it and after, you can see that in vlog number 13. But now I'm going to move on to the events I did this past weekend, which is going to be in vlog number 14. I just don't have that up on the channel as I'm filming this, but it will be by the time this video comes out, so if you want to see it there. But I'll show you some pictures from those as well. I lied, I do have another picture actually. This is actually the behind, like from my table. I wanted to kind of show how, I think it's a little video actually. I wanted to show how like I kind of cramped myself in there, because I like having my checkout stand, but when I do events where it's a smaller space, I can't. So this is kind of, I wanted to kind of show how that looked behind. A little cramped, as you can see. And I did take a picture of this, the lower part too. That's a video. But yeah, this is how it's cramped in there back there, so I just kind of wanted to show that. Alright, so this was my next event. This was last Saturday. It was at a school. The fee was only $25. This was the first time they were putting it on. It was both Saturday and Sunday this weekend were very, very cold, so I think that factored in as well to these, where we didn't have as much traffic. And especially this one, I think it was mainly just like people that were involved in the school, whether they were parents or teachers or just people that were somehow involved in the school, basically. I don't think a lot of the general public came into this one. I sold 2 magnets for $5 and I recognized the guy. He was a parent, because they had students from the school who were selling stuff too, and their parents could like rent a table with them and help them sell. So it was a parent who came around and bought some stuff from some people. So he bought 2 magnets for me for $5, and that's all I sold all day. So I'm going to talk about the setup itself in a minute, but for me to have to like drag all this stuff in and out to only sell $5 worth of stuff, or $0 sometimes, you know, it's just, oh, sometimes. Now about the setup, as you can kind of see here, I was in a hallway and I was given a choice actually. I think they ended up having more people sign up than they thought or something. So they were going to have people in the gym. Hey, Chazzy, quiet. Hey, are you done? So they were going to have people set up in the gym, which were 10 by 10 booths. Then I think, like I said, I think they had more booths than they thought sign up. So they put people in the cafeteria, which was across from me. There were people across from me, in a room across from me too. But those booths were, well, at least the cafeteria ones were supposed to be like 11 by 9 or something, like they were a little different. And then the hallway ones they didn't give us the exact measurements at first, but they were going to be narrower, but they said they would give us like a similar amount of space as a 10 by 10 booth. So at first, when I got the information first, they were like, well, they're 14 by 4 in the hallway. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and I was calculating, like, that's not quite, 10 by 10. That's kind of cheating me a little bit. Then, like, I got another email the night before where I was like, no, they're 16 by 5, actually. I'm like, okay. Because I was trying to figure out the layout, because it was, and I had chosen the hallway because they had kind of given us, I started saying this, but they had kind of given us, Supervisor Chaz, what would you like to say? Anyway, they had given us an option, like they gave us a Google form, like, do you still want to be in the gym with a 10 by 10, or do you want the hallway, or do you want, the cafeteria? So I picked the hallway because I picked it because I wanted a challenge as far as layout goes, to do something different. And I wasn't even sure exactly the measurements until like a day before, which, I mean, I didn't really have time to figure it out before that anyway. So, but anyway, this is what I ended up with basically. So I didn't even really measure it to see if it was technically 16 by 5, but it seems right. It was a little challenging. I knew that I wanted to get my 6-foot table in there. So I got that there, and then I put my 6-foot bench on top here. And I was going to do the 6-foot table and the pegboard, and thinking that would fit all the way across, which it would have. But because I had my backdrop here with my checkout stand, because I wanted something behind me, I don't like being naked there. So I always put something, whether it's the pegboard or the backdrop that I have. So I ended up kind of angling that. As you can see, there's a classroom here in the door. Obviously, I could block it for the time. So I kind of used a little bit of that space to my advantage, which technically wasn't part of my booth, but no one was there anyway. So I put that on an angle there, and then I kind of put this on an angle too at the end, so that I could get in and out and everything, and there was space. Like I said, didn't end up selling any of this. Didn't really need to bring my pegboard in there, but that's a whole other thing. But I liked having the checkout stand again because I missed having it. Again, kind of similar and luckily I also had space to put one of my smaller aluminum tables in front. Because when I measured it out, technically, I think it technically went over the line, but then when I put it in there, it was fine. So I think they did give me a little bit more than 5 inches, or 5 feet, not inches, 5 feet. Because this table is supposed to be like 3 foot wide, and then these are 25. So technically that's over 5 foot a little bit, but it fit, so worked out. I mean, this is what I came up with, the narrow hallway space. I mean, there is a lot of space here that's kind of unused that I don't really like, but I mean, and there were people that came in to look and stuff, but it's kind of an awkward space. And I think I'm going to talk about this more because I'm going to do kind of when I do my videos for next year before I start doing events again. I'm going to talk about different layouts, and this is going to be an example where I had to do like kind of a narrow one or whatever. So that's another reason why I'm going to do the hallway. I was like, well, I want the challenge of making a layout for this, and I want to be able to kind of teach different things about it. So that's why I did it. So anyway, I did, the lady who was kind of really in charge of organizing it, she walked by once and she's like, really nice booth setup. I'm like, thanks. Like, but I mean, the other part of this is I'm basically here with mostly like students, like elementary students with their parents. I'm here with maybe parents who have like a crafting business. Like the ladies next to me did like a dirty soda and like cold brew like mixes or whatever. They were more of a business, and I am more of a business. But a lot of these other people, they're just parents and stuff like that. So, I kind of felt like overqualified in a way, and maybe that's why I didn't sell very well, because people were trying to like support each other, like parents supporting parents. Like the one parent came over and supported me, but I think that's part of the reason why I didn't do so well. Plus, it's a school, like I said, and this was their first year. There wasn't a lot of buzz about it, like for public wise. Like the Kohler event that I did in the previous episode, even though I didn't sell anything there, I didn't sell anything, right? It was 0? Or was it like 20 or something like that? I don't remember. But I didn't sell very much if I sold anything. I'm kind of losing my mind with everything going on. But that one they've been doing that for years and years and years, and the public does come to that one. This one, I'm pretty sure it was, like I said, just people from the school. So that's why I didn't do very well. But like I paid $25. So if I would have made my fee back, or like I had the potential to, if a couple more people were interested in things, get my fee back very easily. But that didn't happen. So probably not going to do this one again next year. The reason I did it too was, it was advertised in a community group I'm in. It was the next city over. It was like, a mile away, if that. So it was close by. That's why I decided to do it. And I added it on too, because I have the next event I'm doing Sunday. This was Saturday. I already had the Sunday one on my calendar, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I'm like, I'm adding another event to the weekend. Do I really want to do that? When I was thinking about it, and I'm like, it's not that far away. And the other event Sunday was supposed to be just a table. We'll get to that in a minute. So it wasn't as intense either. So I'm like, well, I think I can do it. Like, even if I don't make any money, which I didn't. I made $5. I lost 20 total because I paid 25, got 5. So right now I'm saying I wouldn't do this one again, but because it's so close, and maybe if I'm looking to add a little bit more holiday event towards the end of the year and they do it again, because it's kind of close, like I said, maybe I'll do it. But we'll see. We'll see when I get there next year. It's probably a no, though, I think. But anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I do have a few more pictures I can just scroll through here. This is a video, I believe. Yeah. So video of my booth, not that it's that much different. But, gives you a little bit more of an idea of the setup. A little bit closer up pictures. But anyway, that's it. So, let me get to the next event then. That was Sunday. Alright, so this is what ended up being my setup at the Sunday event. So, first of all, this was on my calendar from the year before. Well, January actually, this year, is when it was confirmed. But I had applied for it the year before. Probably around this time, because that's when I got the email recently about the next year, which I'm not going to do another one of their events, even though it went okay. We'll get to that. And it was fine. It was well done and everything. It's just not my type of event. We'll get there. But anyway, and this is before I really started going all gung-ho like I did this year on the events. But this one was on my calendar from the beginning of the year. And it was the last one I did. But anyway, so it was supposed to be like a table event. Like they give you an 8-foot table, which is nice because it was 8 feet. I never really had an 8-foot table before. Actually, it might have been a different event, but I didn't use it because I wasn't really selling anything back then. But anyway, so this is an 8-foot table, not 6, not 4. So they gave you a table, they gave you chairs. There's another chair back there too. And I asked a couple of days beforehand, hey, is it possible for me to bring my pegboard? Because I have, these things that I can't really display anywhere else, these door hangers, other than the pegboard. And I sent pictures along of the Whisker Wonderland event and my Kohl's event that I did in a previous video. Not sure what number it was, but where I just had kind of similar, where I had a table and a pegboard behind. And I'm like, see, I've made it work before. Can I do that? And the first response I got, like immediately after I sent it, was, well, if you bring a smaller table, maybe we can get it to work out. So I brought other tables. Actually, because I had my event the day before, I just kept everything in there from the previous event. Actually, I added my 4-foot table just in case I needed it. And, I had everything in there anyway. But I kind of wanted to know ahead of time, like, am I bringing my pegboard in or not? And I wanted to kind of warn them ahead of time, which probably worked out in my favor because I think they put me here specifically because I had the pegboard so I could be against the wall and I didn't really block anyone else or anything like that. Well, anyway, so I got there and I was already, well, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. I got the email response right away and she was like, I said this, maybe you can, if you bring a smaller table, we can see if it'll work out. And I'm like, okay. Then, like later on that day or the next day, I don't remember exactly when, like between how much time there was between, but because there were 2 people running this event. So I think the other person, maybe it was the same person, I'm not sure, sent out a general email about, we don't really have room for extra racks and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to bring it, right? Well, I already had it in my van. Like maybe they changed their mind or, whatever. And I was kind of feeling, I was getting, because like I said, Saturday didn't really work out very well. I didn't sell much and I was kind of tired from bringing everything in already the day before, bringing in and out. And I did it myself. Where I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to bother bringing my pegboard anyway. Like, I'll just tell people I have door hangers and I'll be like, do you want them, from under the table? That's what I was planning on doing. Well, obviously I put it up, as you can see. But when I first got there, I saw I was against the wall and I was like, well, maybe they put me there because they want me to put my pegboard up. But then, like, when I checked in, they didn't really say anything and I didn't ask. And I started, like, bringing my other stuff in. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I feel like going out there. Because it was really cold on Sunday. It was really cold. Like, I was freezing going out to my car. Like, you can feel like your boogers freezing in your nose. That's how it was. Like being out there like 2 seconds. So, at first I was like, I'm not going to bother. Never mind. I just won't bring it. I don't feel like it. Well, the lady who was here next to me on this side had grid walls. And she was trying to kind of chatting with me when she came in. And I kind of was like, well, I hope I'm not in your way or anything. Well, no, actually. No, not yet. She was like, well, I hope I'm not in your way, because I was kind of starting to move things around on my table or whatever. And, because she had grid walls. And she didn't have a table at all. She just had her grid walls. And she had kind of mentioned that, oh, they said you have something too, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I have a pegboard. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm supposed to bring it in, Because, like I said, the organizers didn't really tell me. I didn't ask, like I said. But that's because I kind of felt like not putting it in anymore. But then once she said it, I'm like, well, I guess I got to bring it in now, So I went out and got it. So, I kind of angled the other 2, as you can see, like the 2 panels on the end, just a little bit. And I made sure with both my neighbors, I'm like, I'm not blocking your space, are you? Is it okay if I do this? And, they're a little like, oh, that's fine. So this is what I ended up with. It's not on the center because I didn't really have the space to do that. I think the next picture I have is the other way. Hold on. Well, there's a video. I think I have another one later from the other way. Yeah, there it is. So as you can see, here's the grid wall I was talking about with that lady. But anyway, I'll go back through the pictures in a minute too. But this was my setup. So I ended up making, what was it, 30? The fee I paid was 55, so I didn't make my fee back again. But I did better than the day before, you know. And I had people taking my card and stuff again, you know. But at least this time, like, well, the Saturday too, I had my signs. As you can see, I found my ornaments and I had my signs. But it was nice. This is the nice thing about this, was I was not used to having an 8-foot table, and I was like, wow, I can really get a lot of stuff on here. Maybe I should get an 8-foot table, you know, to bring along. We'll see about that. Depends on, you know, my layout, especially when I do outdoor events again with the tent, if I'm gonna have room for an 8-foot table, you know. But it is kind of nice. I'm considering getting one for certain events. But anyway, we'll see. But I got a lot of my stuff on there. I did have some of these Christmas signs, like, because a lot of them are kind of doubles. I had them behind in case they sold, or if people were really looking at them, well, I have another one. Do you want to see this one? You know, but I was able to get most of them out there. And then my other signs that I have here, and then my door hangers. No one bought any again. No one bought any door hangers all the events I talked about on this video. No one bought any. And I think, and they didn't really mention them either. And I think that's because, again, it's the holidays, so people are looking more for other people. Maybe the Welcome to the Neck of the Woods one might sell for other people, like if you have a special, because this is my second version of this one. Actually, this one too. Both of them are my second version, because they both sold. And they were for other, well, actually, no. The other one I'm talking about for this one, I had actually given as a gift. But this one, the other one I had sold for someone. It was a gift for someone else. So, and that was before the holidays even. But anyway, the rest of these, maybe the welcomes, people might buy for someone else, but usually it's more of a personal purchase. And because it's the holidays, you know, people are trying to buy stuff for other people, not themselves. So, like I said, no one was really interested in them. They didn't say anything about them. So it's like, well, did I really have to bring my pegboard in, you know? Like, maybe I was right the first time and I didn't have to, because, like, there's no point, because people aren't buying them anyway. So, but the point is, you never know. So, anyway, I sold another one of my trees. So I only have 3 of those left now for next year. I sold some ornaments. I think I sold a magnet or 2, but that was it. All small things. But they did add up. I sold $30 worth of stuff. The thing too, not that this was completely competition, but like this lady over, you can kind of see, she had like signs that she made, but hers are different. Like she has like a bunch of shadow boxes, and she cuts out paper with a Cricut and like staples it in, or paper or wood, I'm not sure which one it was. And she had some ornaments and stuff too. But like that was her thing. It's a little different because mine are painted. And then the lady next to me on this side had like pressed flower signs. That's what she made. So we were all kind of signs in a row though. And signs in general are things that people tend not to want as much, which is something I've noticed, which is something I want to work on for next year. Like obviously, mostly what I make is signs, you know. So not that I'm not going to have signs next year, but I want a little more variety of stuff. So, but that was part of it too, I think, where we had so many signs in a row. And people were kind of like, I'm sick of the signs, I don't want to see them anymore, or something like that. I don't know. But I think that's part of the reason I didn't do as well. I mean, I did fine. And for a very cold day, we had a pretty decent crowd. And even the people that didn't buy anything but did interact with me were, you know, kind of interested and nice and stuff. So it was fine. But not really much else to say other than that. I do have more pictures, like I said, a little more close up. I think some of these are videos too. But that was my ornaments. Magnets. Took 2 versions of that. Yeah, like I said, I still have the snowman one, but the other one sold. So this is where I said where I didn't have any Christmas ones left. Like one of these is a Christmas one, actually. This one, calories don't count on Christmas, and then the other side says calories don't count on Thanksgiving. And people look at it and they're like, haha, that's funny, but they don't buy it. But anyway, the rest of these were more Thanksgiving, you know, related, or fall. so they didn't go as well. And I thought about like reducing the price, being like, oh, they're out of season, like take them for a little cheaper. But I ended up not doing that. I probably should have. Maybe I would have sold more, because I did do that at another event and they sold pretty good at that event when I did it when they were out of season. But I didn't end up doing that. But anyway, I sold one of the trees. I sold this one, I think. So I had, I have 3 left. And those, so I can't make any more of those. The original wood I got for those, that was cut already into that shape. I do want to start maybe making my own wood stuff eventually. I'm not there yet. But the place I got it from, especially these exact ones, I can't do again. So whatever I have left is what I have left. So I'll have those for next year. We'll see if I want to redo them, because I redid them this year already from the ones I had last year. And they finally sold this year. But that was that. So my door hangers. And this was the video, I think, right? Yeah. Again, not that, it's not really that different, but you can kind of see a little more as the video goes by. That's what my setup looked like. But anyway, that's for that event. Then I do have my half event that I wanted to talk about real quick. It did happen first before all these other events. I'll just talk about it real quick. Alright, so this is my setup at that event. Like I said, I couldn't sell anything. I was just advertising. Kind of similar. Was this an 8-foot table? No, it looks like a 6-foot table. But anyway, they gave us a table. And so this tree here, I know I didn't mention it in this video. I may have mentioned it in another video on here. I adopted the tree from my city. It's the recreation center in my city. And I adopted the tree for $100 at the commercial level. And we were supposed to decorate our trees. Mine's not very decorated. That's because I had too much crap going on. And my original plan, which I'm going to get to in a minute, didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. But I kind of half got it done. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, I had to decorate a tree. And then I got, for the tree lighting ceremony, I got a table to advertise and stuff. So this is what I ended up setting up. Now, as you see, I have my iPad here. So again, if you've been watching other videos in this series, I talked about where I used to have my iPad on my table, and I would play my videos from YouTube on this channel, like stuff that, like for this one, I'm making signs. But I kept it to the holiday videos for this one. But like, I make holiday chalkboard signs, I make holiday windows, and I do Halloween windows and stuff too. But for this one, I did all the holiday related videos. That's what I played, because it's a holiday event. So, but it's the first time I brought this back. And I didn't bring it to any of my other events that I did since then, that I talked about in this video. But I also want to get to the point next year where I do want to do this again, but I do want to do it more like a more curated version. Not just where I'm playing my YouTube videos, where I'm like demonstrating, I make signs, and I have a video of me making a sign and the pictures of the signs I've made, and then like, information about how you order a sign or whatever on there, and then kind of cycling through, like, this is what I do, here's one thing I do, this is what I do, here's a video of me making it, first of all. I mean, I have pictures of me making stuff too down here, which a lot of them came from my videos, but this is me, this is my face, the same face that's in this video. It's not AI, okay? I know AI video is getting a little better, but it's a real video. And you can see me actually doing it. So you're seeing me actually, like, talent, if I have it, doing it. So that was something I brought back for this event. And I would like to get that back in, like I said, in a different way at all my events, not just my advertising ones. So, but that was something I did differently at this one. So what I wanted to do with this tree, you can see, actually I have pictures of my ornaments. I made Christmas song titles in my lettering on these ornaments. And what I wanted to do was do separate ornaments with pictures that illustrated some of these songs. And I was going to have people, because on the back of these, I don't have a picture of this here, but on the back of these, there's a letter that goes with the song. So they were going to match the number of the picture to the letter of the song. That was my whole thing. That's why I wanted to do this, was to try to like get people to follow me on social media for one thing, locally, but also make it more interactive. That was my thing. Now, they had a contest for, decorating the tree. Obviously I didn't win. I didn't think I was going to win. Even if I would have done what I originally wanted to do, I don't think I was going to win. That's not the reason I did it. I wanted to do it to interact with the community. And now it stops screen. I don't know why it's doing this. Every once in a while, it turns off. I don't know what I'm pressing to make it turn off. But anyway, I wanted to interact with the community. That was the whole point of me doing it. Like I thought maybe it might, I might do this again next year, we'll see. But I thought I could get, to where I could do this. Now, because I didn't finish the picture ornaments, I decided I was going to do just pictures that I draw and release them on my website and my social media and stuff, where people can match these song titles with the pictures. Now, you don't have to see the tree to do that, but I added the this thing here, which explains, the QR code explains like the whole process or whatever. I don't know how, like, the tree is there for people to, if they scan it, maybe they'll figure it out and get in. I don't know. But like, the problem is I can't tell if anyone's actually playing right now, because the form to actually fill out doesn't come out until Christmas Eve, and I'm getting to like explaining it more. But because I had to kind of do it this way, and I actually made printable ones that I brought at this event too, and my events that I had, because my only requirement is that you're from Wisconsin. So if you're watching this and you're from Wisconsin and you want to play, you can. But if you're not, then you can play, but you can't win. I just want to keep it local. That's the reason I'm doing that. But anyway, the thing is so there's, and I already kind of messed this up, but I'm gonna fix it. Every day from the tree lighting ceremony, which was December 4th, through December 24th, every weekday, there was going to be a picture, and there's 15. There was going to be a picture coming out, and it worked out where it would be one day each day, each weekday, not the weekends. Well, last Thursday and Friday, I fell behind because of all this crap going on, like I said, and then I had my vendor events I was going to be doing, so I was trying to like do it in between, and I still don't have them done actually. So last Thursday, last Friday, this Monday, yesterday, and today, so far I haven't released one. But like I said, I don't think many people are playing anyway, and by the time December 24th goes around, they'll all be up. I just wanted to keep one a day to make it a little less confusing, but I already got behind. I knew it was going to happen. But by Christmas Eve, they will all be up, and that's when you get the form, which you have to fill out between Christmas Eve and New Year's Day. So all of New Year's Day you have as well. January 2nd then is when I'm going to do a drawing. So everyone who enters will get something, like a small discount that they can use towards a purchase. But out of the pool of people that get it right, there'll be one name drawn, and that person will win $50 gift card towards something to me. Whether they spend just $50 or they spend more and they spend the $50 towards it or whatever, like some of my bigger things or whatever. I thought it was a good idea. It kind of evolved along the way, like I said. I don't know how many people are participating. I even said too that if I get a lot of people participating, I might add more prizes, like the 50 and maybe a 20, 10 or something like that. But that depends on how many people play, because if I only have 5 people show up to play and only 3 of them get everything right, and I have 3 names to choose from, then only one of them is getting a prize, But if I get 100 people to show up and actually play, and 95 of them get it right, because it's pretty easy. I do have some with some of the songs, I have ones that could be either way if you're not paying attention, but most people should be able to get them right. Then I'd have more it would be more fruitful for me to have more people win. But if I only have 3 people playing, like 3 people that, you know, actually entered and entered the correct, then only one person can win, you know? So kind of hard, because I'm not big enough to know, like, oh, I should have this many people playing. Like, I could have 0. And then I'll have to, like, I don't know, make a fake name or something. I don't know. Like, I was actually going to have, when I go to my Christmas parties with my family, I'm going to have them play too. So at least someone's playing, I know. And if I'm not going to cheat and make my family win, but if no one else enters, then like a family member will win, and they'll get $50 worth of my stuff. So, like, I have to have at least someone play, you know? So anyway, that's the whole thing there. But let me just show you real quick. I have an example of one of the pictures I drew. And I'm a lettering artist, okay? I'm not good at drawing other things so much. I mean, you can still tell, I think, most of the time what they're supposed to be, but I'm not an artist that way, okay? I'm a lettering artist. And even my ornaments for my lettering, I didn't do as well as I wanted to, but let me show you a picture. Okay, this is one of the pictures. This is actually number 2. So this is one of the pictures. And this is actually kind of one of the more challenging ones. You know, do you know what song this is from? This is a challenging one, like I said. Maybe you don't. Out of I can show you the list too, actually. Let me show you the list. Hold on. Here's the list all together. So out of all these songs, that picture goes with one of those songs. Do you know which one? Leave a comment. Help me in the algorithm. And you know, if the local people that are playing read your comment, maybe they'll help them figure it out. But anyway, that's that. But anyway, so this was the event. Like I said, as far as the event went itself, first of all, okay, so this is like not even 10 minutes from me. And I got there early, like right when I could start setting up. And I started setting up and I realized, oh, they didn't give us a tablecloth. And they didn't say if they were going to or not, or at least I didn't pay attention to that. And I had even said, oh, don't forget your tablecloth, and I forgot. So I had to go back and get my tablecloth. So I went back and got my tablecloth, came back, and the second time I came back, from the time I got there until the event ended, which the event itself was like, well, we left a little early, but it was supposed to be like 3 hours, 4:30 to 7:30. I could not stop sneezing, and I don't know what it was. I was kind of coughing around the time, and I thought maybe I was getting sick, and I did sneeze a little bit, like not there, like at home and stuff, but not like that. I'm like, why am I sneezing so much? And I'm like, what am I allergic to? And no one else was sneezing around me. I don't know what my problem was, but that was part of my misery of being there, was I was just sneezing the entire time, and I had no like tissues to wipe my nose, blow my nose, sneeze into, you know. So I was just sitting there the whole time for 3 hours, just dang it, like nonstop. And that so I was miserable. So that might have been part of the reason why a lot of people didn't visit me. But also, as I've said before, not on this video, but anytime I'm at an event where there's people with kids, I don't do too well, because I mean, I did kind of have something, and there was a kid that came up and was interested in playing the game. We'll see if they actually play. But, you know, I didn't have like toys to give out or candy or anything, you know, so I mean, maybe I should have, but like, people are more preoccupied with like their kids, because this is a kid-centered, family-centered event. There's a lot of activities for the kids, like Santa was there, and you could mail your letter to Santa, and you know, they had like cookie decorating and stuff like that for the kids. But it was mainly kids that were there, kids and their families. So, you know, even though I do have stuff that's relevant to kids, like, and I did put up my banner, like my hand-painted banner, which is like all the rage now thing, like prices on that. That's a kid thing. But I think if I could advertise that a little better, like on my iPad, that might help. But like, and even some of this, but some people that did come, I'm like, I can make stuff for birthday parties, like, you know, banners or backdrops or like signs, like the chalkboard signs, like that I've done for other parties and stuff. You know, that's all like kind of stuff I could do for kids, you know. and I can make personalized gifts or like signs if they want to sign for their room, like, you know, so and so's room, or, you know, whatever, no girls allowed or whatever. Like, I could do that kind of stuff, you know. But no one, like, even if I say it though, people don't like, oh, you know, I don't really, you know, so they move on, you know. So anyway, that's mostly what I got. Actually, most people pass me by. But like I said, I did look a little crazy because I was sneezing, so my eyes were watering, so it kind of looked like I was crying. So I was probably scaring people away too. But also, so there was one guy, an adult, who didn't have any kids with him. I'm not sure exactly who he was exactly. But he came up to my table and he was like, hey, do you do like promotional items, like calendars and stuff for business? I'm like, I could do that, you know, like that's actually something I've considered doing. It's just not something I've actually got into yet. And he's like, and he was asking me if I do like networking, and I'm like, well, I'd like to get into some, you know, because I do, the other thing, I do business to business type things too, and I would like to, you know, get, you know, schmooze a little more with business, which is another thing I wanted to do here, and I didn't really talk about that in a second. But like, you know, so he's part of this networking group locally, and I forget the name of it that he said, and he's like, well, we had someone who was doing our promotional stuff, but she just left. So we kind of need someone new, like in the group or whatever. And we can only have one person who does it, you know, and you know, would you do? And I'm like, yeah. So he took my card and he like made a point of like shaking my hand and being like, Shannon, nice to meet you. I'll be in touch. I haven't heard from him. Go figure. But at the time, like I thought, well, this might be promising. Like, you know, I mean, it's only been like, you know, a week and a half maybe. He's waiting until the next year or something. We'll see. But I haven't heard from him. So, you know, I was kind of like, oh, you know, just like everyone else who takes my stuff, never hear from them. I don't know what it is. Once they get home, they decide, never mind, you know, all the time. I don't know. But anyway, that was one of the highlights of the day, you know, at the time, but nothing came out of it yet. You know, maybe still, I don't know, we'll see. But, you know, that'd be nice. It'd also be nice to get into like a networking thing where I can, again, network with other businesses. And I think, because he was saying it was like there was another event coming up in January, which I never heard of, called Discover New Berlin. Just to get into that, honestly, even without the promotional stuff. So I can like have the chance to talk about my business to other businesses. Because when I post, I don't do it often. And I should do it more, and I need to get better about that next year. But like when I've posted about like when I do murals and windows and stuff, like I'll get a few like likes, but no one sees my stuff. Either no one sees it or they're not interested. And I have to go out and go to actual businesses and like introduce myself. Wasn't able to do that as far as the windows go. I wasn't able to do that this year because when my mother-in-law moved in, I had to be here when my husband went to work because again, she needs some care. So I wasn't able to go and do windows this year because of that. I wasn't able to do it last year because I didn't have a car. So next year, hopefully, I can get into doing windows. But it's like every year there's something that I can't do it. And I could have maybe squeezed in a few because I did advertise on my social media, and this is before all this happened. Like, hey, I can do holiday windows. Anyone interested? You know, and if people would have signed up, then I would have been able to do a few this year when I had time. But I wouldn't have been able to fill my schedule with them. But anyway, that's how that went this year. But that's another thing. Like, so the other thing was that I wanted to say. So, like across from me, there was like a senior home, and then like a chiropractic office, and I don't know what the woman next to me is. She had a really good tree though. Actually, you can see it kind of in. She had like plates on her tree, and I'm surprised she didn't win. I thought she was going to, but she didn't. And I don't remember what her business was exactly, but I know that her kind of thing was like, oh, we repair things so that they're good as new. So I don't know if they were plates that were repaired or whatever. But anyway, I wanted to walk over and introduce myself to her. I never got the chance because we were supposed to stay there until 7:30. Like I said, we left early. So the ceremony for who won was like right at 7. So after we find out who won, everyone started leaving. And I'm like, I thought we were supposed to stay till 7:30 because the event technically went till 7:30, but like all the people left too. So I'm like, I didn't start packing up. So then I was kind of left packing my stuff up when everyone else was leaving because they had all started packing up already. Because I was gonna go like at the end and be like, hey, I just wanted to drop off my card. I do murals and windows and stuff and signage. Like if you're interested in any of that, here you go. Here's my card. You know, I was gonna do that to the tables around me, at the very least, the ones right around me. Didn't get a chance to do that. And I was also, because again, with my sneezing and everything, I felt like I was annoying people too, because I kept sneezing and I kept hearing bless you and stuff, and I'm like, thank you, you know, like, I'm sorry, I can't stop sneezing, you know. So then I was kind of like intimidated by that, like, oh, maybe I don't want to go bother him, you know. So it was kind of a disaster is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think anything is coming out of it. Except, you know, the experience, I guess. So, yeah, I don't think I have much else to say about that. Like I said, I'm done for this year about any type of event, even like this. I don't have anything like this coming up. I'm not planning on doing anything else until spring. I have one thing for sure confirmed in the summer, like July next year. I have one that I applied for that's in May, but I don't find out about that one until March, April. I think I mentioned that earlier. So until like May, I'm not doing any more events because I'm taking a break. I don't want to say I'm burned out, but I'm getting there. And I need to regroup. I need to like work on like building up money for fees again, because like out of money, and then making improvements to my booth, both outdoor and indoor. I'm not going to be doing as many events, at least I don't think so. I mean, I have my eye on like bigger events more, like a few bigger events rather than like a bunch of small ones, you know? Even though some of the small ones were good for me, like the Whisker Wonderland, that was good. But I don't know. But anyway, so after this episode, it's probably not going to come out until next year. I'm going to film it soon though. Because I actually have a holiday window that I did last year. I didn't do any this year on my windows. I'm not hosting Christmas, so I'm not doing any. At least not a full one. But I have one that I never made a video about last year. So I'm going to make a video about that. That's probably going to come out next week. I do have Procreate videos I'm finally going to start doing again. But as far as the vendor events go, the next one that's going to come out is a recap of all of my events that I did this year, except like it's going to be very concise, I promise, not too long. And I'm going to be looking at certain things and comparing and contrasting different events and kind of going over like the stats and everything like that in that event, or that video, I mean. And then I do have to go back and do episode 5 and 6. That's going to be after, I know. It's actually a good thing in a way. Like I had originally planned it a little differently. Obviously, that's why it was supposed to be 5 and 6. But 5 was supposed to be about products and displays, which now that I have more events under my belt, I can talk about that more and different things, you know. And then 6 was supposed to be about general tips, which now I have more general tips, you know, that I've learned along the way. So it's probably a good thing that those got delayed, even though the number is bad. But we'll work with it. Like I said, I was going to put them in the playlist in order, but as they come out, if you're watching them, they're not in order. So, but that's what I plan on doing. Like I said, the next video that's probably going to come out next week is going to be related to my holiday window that I did last year. And then maybe the week after might be, which might still be December this year. What's the calendar? Hold on. Let me see the calendar. Yeah, technically that's New Year's Eve, next Wednesday. So, not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after. So the Christmas Eve, I have one coming out. That'll be my holiday window from last year. The 31st might be my recap video that I'm talking about. And then I'm probably going to start doing 5 and 6 after that. And then we'll start doing other stuff than vendor events. But I do have smaller videos that I want to come out about different vendor events stuff too. But those will come out on Mondays, not Wednesdays. And then Procreate should be coming out on Fridays. but we'll see when those start again exactly. I did get one out, but I'm going to work on more of those. I do want to focus more, especially at the beginning of the year next year, on like teaching tutorials like this, but also trying to do like local workshops and stuff like that, and teaching in person and doing more of that kind of stuff, and getting my other channels like my lettering channel and my wedding channel finally out. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on in the beginning of the year next year. You will see stuff on this channel too. But anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week with a different video.